Coogan Cassius, IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. With me I've got our sponsor Matthew Macklin. How are you, Matthew?
Yeah, good mate, good.
In Dublin here today, another explosive press conference here in Dublin after the first one with Anton and Spike, this time with Timms and Sweeney.
And I was spiking that there, and Anto was nearly going for it with Pascal, his trainer, instead.
He wanted a head-to-head with Pascal.
He has to fight with someone.
Absolutely. Obviously, disappointment of the 30th show not happening, but I mean, a couple of months later, we're back on a bigger venue, and a bigger crowd will be there, obviously, and it'll be the same sort of night anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the positives and negatives in everything, and while it was what happened, the reason why it got postponed was a terrible thing. You can't take any positives out of that. But from the fight point of view, with it being put back, it probably worked out for better, really, because even though the stadium had sold out in 10 minutes, and the stadium's a great venue, and it would have been electric. You know, the 3 Arena, it's a proper arena. It's a big, has that big time feel to it, and I think so. It's more suited really for the night, for the big time boxer coming back to Ireland. It's been 5 years since, there was a huge fight here. I think it was Bernard Dunn against Korobov, Pansawat when he lost the world title, and also it's 5 years since I boxed here as well. So. No, the 3 Arena is much better. It's a proper arena. The stadium's great. It's more of a York Hall. It's the York Hall of Irish boxing. So it's a great venue, brilliant venue. And the atmosphere is electric, and it holds a great atmosphere. But the big arena here, the old O2, the 3 Arena now, that's the proper place for this fight to happen. And from my point of view, I got to shake. Got 8 badly needed rounds under my belt. Got to shake a lot of rust. And I'm excited about this fight now.
Obviously, HEILAND stands in your way of you moving on from this eliminator, but obviously he was a scheduled opponent. You want to get that focus on that and get that out of the way, really, didn't you, before you can think about anything potentially bigger?
Yeah, very much so, because it's a huge opportunity for him. He'll see me as someone that's been in the world top 5, top 10 for the last 5-6 years. So for him to beat me, it really catapult him into the mix where he probably get a world title shot. From my point of view, it's an eliminator. I've had 2 wins now on the bounce since the Golovkin fight, but this is by far the biggest and the most meaningful fight, and it is an official eliminator. So, there's a lot at stake here, and like I was saying before, at my stage of career, I've won European title twice, having Irish titles, British titles, boxed in big fights, been in, on big American fights. I wouldn't be putting in what I'm putting in and making the sacrifices I'm making if I didn't sincerely believe I could become world champion. And I said it before, Golovkin aside, who I believe is the best middleweight in the world, I thought I'd be confident beating any of the other guys in the middleweight division. And but having said that, I have to get past this guy first, and he's a real fighter. He's never been stopped. The couple of losses he has had, he's avenged a couple of them, and Zebik beat him on points in a very competitive fight in Germany earlier on in his career. I think he's a better fighter now. So it's a tough fight, but it's the fight I need at this stage. Now, if I can't beat this guy, then that's it really. But I know I will beat him, and it's a good win, and it'll, like I say, it'll really set me up for a big year next year, where I think a world title shot will definitely come about.
You haven't fought in Dublin for 5 years, so you're long overdue a fight here.
Well overdue, and I was saying before, I'm proud to be bringing the big time boxing. The Sky TV cameras, at the 3 Arena, the big arena. I'm glad to be bringing that big time feel back. Proud to as well, and I'm excited about the night of the fight. And I just can't wait. Look, you can keep repeating and echoing everything. The rallies, I just can't wait. I can't wait for the event of the night, the occasion. I'm excited about boxing here in Ireland again. And I'm also, I can't wait to be in this fight. We've had 2 wins since the Golovkin fight, the Russ fight, and then the last one. Underperformed in both, I feel, but there was reasons for that, and but I think this fight is a proper fight. It's a fight that means a lot. If you win, you're right in the mix. You lose, I don't even want to think about what losing would mean. So it's an absolute must-win fight. It's a big fight, and he's coming. He's the champion. He's the WBC international champion. He's ranked above me, the WBC. So a lot on the line, everything on the line, and they're the fights I perform best in, and I can't wait for it.
A probable fight between Andy Lee and Matt Korobov will probably happen in America later on in the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was talk about this date being a potential fight for you and Andy Lee, but he's taking that fight. You've got this fight ahead of you. But like you said in the press conference, it would be great if Andy Lee was to beat Korobov, and he could set up a lot of big Irish fights there.
Yeah, massive. And I think Andy's got a good chance. Korobov, styles make fights, and Korobov's, a counter-punching southpaw, quite technical. Andy's quite technical. I think he'll give Andy room and time, which he performs better. I think when Andy's under pressure, he's not so great. But when he's got time and room, he's a class act. And I think he's got a great chance with Korobov. He's probably the underdog, and rightly so. But definitely not out of the question that Andy can win that fight. And if he does, geez, me and Andy fighting for the world titles, it's just that key added ingredient. Me and Andy, it's a big fight anyway, but if there's a world title on the line, it just makes it all the more, important and all the bigger. So I'll be rooting for Andy for selfish reasons, and I'll be rooting for him anyway because he's flying the flag for Irish boxing, and he's a rival, but he's not a bad lad, Andy. And I wish him the very best of luck in that fight. I hope he does the business for himself, and obviously from a selfish point of view, it sets up a huge fight with me and him as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, Billy Joe Saunders is right in the mix of that Lee and Korobov fight because he was sort of supposed to fight Korobov at one point, and he's now fighting Eubank Jr. But what do you think of that fight, Saunders and Eubank Jr?
I think Eubank Jr. has definitely got talent. I think that's for sure. I mean, he's boxed a lot of stiffs, but you can see he's got ability. He's quite speedy. He's quite explosive. He can definitely hit. If he's even got half the chin his old man had, he'll have a good chin. And I think, look, there's no doubt he's a good fighter, but it's hard to know how good because he's really untested. Where Billy Joe, great amateur pedigree. I remember when he boxed in the Olympics and he won his first fight, and then he boxed a Cuban, and he only just come short. And I was really impressed with him. And since then, he's won British titles, European titles. The Commonwealth title. He's been in fights. He's been 12 rounds loads of times. Like in terms of how more proven, how more experienced he is as a professional compared to Eubank Jr., there's no comparison. And I think that'll be a big difference on the night. I mean, it's not impossible that Eubank Jr. can step up to the plate and shock us all. Well, I'd say shock us all and surprise a few people, and he can make the jump. Sometimes some people can make the jump, and I'm sure if you're good enough you can. But usually it's nice to kind of gauge the gap, and Billy Joe stepped up bit by bit. Commonwealth, British, European, 12-round fights, and he's been brought along nicely, and he's a very competent fighter now. One world-class fighter, he's a European champion. So I'd definitely be going with Billy Joe for that fight.
We shall find out on the 29th of November. Trainer-wise, with you, obviously we know what Jamie's injuries. You went and started training with Joe Gallagher. Is that Joe Gallagher thing a long-term thing? You're going to go back to Jamie?
Do you know what? I'm not even sure because at the minute, obviously Jamie's back training a few fighters, but he's still not 100%. And I just had the last fight, and then this is in a few weeks. So I'm training with Joe for this fight. I had a great camp with Joe for the last fight.
Yeah.
I didn't perform great, but I felt good in training. The night of the fight, I think it was more a rusting and also a fact of getting up for the fight against that opponent at an empty arena at 6 o'clock when you've been boxing in big fights. It does as much as your professional and trainers had, which I did. It's just subconsciously on the night of the fight. It's hard to recreate those butterflies and those nerves for a fight like that as opposed to a fight like this. But I had enjoyed training with Joe. We had a great camp, and I've been back there this week. He's a taskmaster, and he pushes the buttons, and he gets you going. So I'm enjoying with Joe, and I'm not looking past that. Me and Jamie are good friends. I speak to Jamie most days, and Jamie's a great trainer, very knowledgeable too. So we'll just see what happens. I'm not even right now. I'm just focused on HEILAND, and obviously Joe's training me for that. So I'm not looking past that.
But it works well for you. You know Joe very well. Obviously, the pair of you know each other double well. So
and I get on with Joe. He gets a lot of flack at times. He's very, but he's 100% for his fighters, and he's just a bit of he works so hard. He's a bit obsessive, but in a way that's a good thing. As a fight from a fighter's point of view, he has left no stone unturned, and there aren't too many people more hard-working than Joe Gallagher. And sometimes it rubs people up the wrong way, and sometimes there's a jealousy factor there too because he's successful and he's bringing a lot of fighters on and they're doing well and he's going well. So Joe's a good trainer, and I'm enjoying training with him.
Absolutely. All right, Matthew Macklin, thanks for talking to IFL TV, and good luck with the rest of your training camp leading up to the 15th, and we'll be back here where this place will be rocking. Not this place here, but up there.
No, it'll be rocking, that's for sure.
All right, no worries. Kugan Cassius, Matthew Macklin, IFL TV, thank you very much.